So recently I installed Garuda Linux on one of my virtual machines. So I actually played around with it. Let me just try to show you guys what are my what's uh, the looks inside of this particular Linux distribution once you after you logged in. Okay, let's okay. So you have here two users already. So you have your guest and you have here the actual registered user. Okay, so as you've noticed, if I'm going to click guest, I will be changed. The background wallpaper will be changed to the default wallpaper. And if I were to select my name, you can actually see the wallpaper that I have previously selected. Okay, so let me just try to log in. Okay, now, so this is already the desktop of Garuda Linux. So I've also changed the theme from Adwaita Dark to Adwaita. Okay, so um, let's try to select this time the the Office applications if there's an Office application that's already installed. So under start menu, then you have your Office. So currently there's no Office applications installed yet. So as you've noticed, these are all the applications that is installed under Office. So you can actually select the different Office applications that you want to install. Maybe you can select OpenOffice or LibreOffice. So it's up to you. It depends upon your preference. Now, basically, Garuda Linux is an Arch-based Linux operating system. So it has several flavors. Currently, I am using XFCE, but there's also there's also Garuda Cinnamon, which I'll also be showing you guys later, or maybe one of these days, so that at least you will have an idea before you try to install and download or install the ISO file. Now, let's try to look for ways to change the looks of the system. So maybe we can right click here, then okay, let's try to select desktop settings. Okay, so this is actually where I went when I changed the wallpaper. So this is actually the default wallpaper. Okay, the one that you saw under guest, and I selected this one. So there are several wallpapers already that comes pre-installed when you install this particular Linux distribution. Okay, so let's just try to change it maybe to this one. Okay, so that's actually the looks of my desktop. Now you can also change the menu, okay, and as well as the icons. Okay, you can change the size of the icon. Okay, let's try to make it a little bit small. Okay, as you've noticed, the icon on the upper left hand of my desktop uh, changed from the default size to 38. Okay, then you can also try to select what icons will be displayed. Okay, so you have your home, trash, as well as removable devices. But removable devices is currently not seen since there's no USB drive attached to my machine. Okay, so let's just try to click close. Let's try to see other applications here. Now, you can also select Terminal Emulator. So, this is the Terminal Emulator of Garuda Linux. Okay, so its package manager is still Pacman, very much the same with other Arch-based Linux, and it's still under rolling release. Okay, so it's basically written in C, C++, and other open source languages that you can use. Um, on one of the articles, by the way, a lot of people have been saying that XFCE is the best Garuda because it is prettier and easier than Manjaro. I don't know. I haven't used Garuda for a very long time. I have much more in-depth experience when it comes to Arch in Manjaro. Okay, so I've been using Manjaro several times already on my on when it comes to giving you guys a demonstration or demo videos. This is the first time that I have been using Garuda. Okay, so it is also said in some of the articles that the XFCE is the best version of Garuda since it's lightweight as well as it's aesthetically beautiful. Okay. LXQT, the LXQT version of Garuda is also one of its advantage also is that it's quite lightweight, but it tends to be a bit buggy compared to the XFCE version. Okay. Um, but I haven't installed LXQT or haven't tried using LXQT. I am much more I have much more experience when it comes to using the XFCE version. By the way, for those of you guys that are new to XFCE, XFCE is a desktop environment found in Linux. Okay, there are also other desktop environments are Gnome, OpenBox, and so on. Now, let's try to go to menu. Let's try to see other things that we can do. So this is the terminal emulator. Okay. Let's try to think about. So this is the XFCE terminal emulator. So you can also use the Gnome terminal emulator for those of you again that doesn't have any idea the other terminal emulator. So this is an XFCE terminal emulator. Okay. So to click menu again. These are the recently used terminal emulator. Now, if you want to change the screen resolution, what you can basically do is you can click the menu, then you have your search, then display. Okay, just in case it doesn't show on the recently used applications, what you can do is you can just click display, then uh, the display dialog box will appear. So I'm always trying to change my resolution to 1440 by 900 if I'm using my virtual machine. Okay, so advanced, so on. You can change the settings here. Um, okay, let's go to accessories. Accessories, these are the different accessories found. Although onboard settings, redshift, screenshot, you can do some screenshots here as well. Task manager, Vim. Okay, so if you're fond of Vim, you don't need to install Vim because it's already it already comes pre-installed. Okay, so this is Vim. Let's try to close it. What else? Let's try to go to accessories. Still. Okay, what about development? So to development. So these are the different applications found under development section. Icon browser and meld. Although I don't know some of these applications. Okay, usually when I use Linux, I install my own set of applications based on what I need. Okay, so for graphics, color picker, peak, image viewer, and Pinta. I think Pinta is the equivalent of Pinta in Microsoft is MS Paint. Okay, so this is actually Pinta. It's a little bit more uh, a little bit more complicated than MS Paint, and it has a lot more features compared to MS Paint. Although not as uh, complex, and it doesn't contain that much feature compared to, let's say, Adobe Photoshop or uh, I forgot the name of the application of that is the counterpart of Adobe Photoshop in Linux. But I think this can already be used. Okay, so to close without saving. Okay, it's under graphics. Okay, internet. So you have your SSH, Avahi SSH server browser, Firefox, Geary, modem manager, and transmission. I don't know what transmission. Let's try to select transmission. Okay, so it's a file sharing program when you run a torrent. So I think this one is also like uTorrent or BitTorrent. Okay, so let's just say to click cancel. So under internet, Geary. Again, the default application found on XFC on Garuda is Firefox. The default browser, I mean, is Firefox. But you can also install the other browsers, which is uh, like Opera or Chrome. Depends upon your preference. So multimedia, these are the different multimedia applications. Like Audacity, if you wanted to record music, you can use Audacity. You can also use MPV, media player. Okay, let's try to use this one. Try to open. I think this one is similar to Windows Movie Maker, but let's just try to check. Okay, so while it's still loading, let's try to look at other. Okay, so new. Yeah. So it's very much the same. This is actually PTV. PTV, yeah, is a video editing software for Linux. This okay, so you can actually edit videos in Linux. You can add layers and so on. Import, create title clip. Okay, so you can do this one. You can actually effects library. So this is also a good application. Although I haven't tried this one. I wanted to try this one. Let's just click close without saving. XF burn. Maybe you can use this one to burn CDs. Then you also have pulse audio volume control. Okay. Settings. Let's go to settings this time. Okay, let's try to click appearance. So this is where you can actually change the style of your desktop. So from Adwaita, the default actually is Adwaita dark. You can also select high contrast if you want. But in my case, I would rather use either Adwaita or Adwaita dark. You can also select the different icons. These are all the different pre-installed icons. But of course, you can still add if you wanted to. Then fonts as well as settings. Okay. So to select color profiles. Okay. Display, file manager, keyboard, login window. Okay, let's try to specify. So this is actually where we can change the settings of our login window. So you can change the appearance, users, as well as the different settings. Let's try to click close. Go back to settings again. Media, system admin, settings manager, text editor, uh, XFCE terminal settings, YAD, okay, workspaces. Okay, so go to system this time. Now one of the cool things about Garuda is that we have here Alacrity. Okay. Alacrity is another terminal emulator. Okay, very much similar to XFCE terminal. Okay. Uh, Very much similar to this one. But in my case, I am much more comfortable in using either Gnome terminal or XFCE terminal. Okay. So you can also do bulk rename, bleach it, welcome. So task manager, Wi-Fi hotspot. You have your XFCE terminal. So there's two terminal emulators found on Garuda. So you have Alacrity and XFCE Terminal. Okay, now let's go to Terminal this time. Maybe let's try to check if Neo Fetch is installed. Okay, so NeoFetch basically is installed. So currently this is Garuda Linux x86-64. It runs in VirtualBox 1.2. These are its kernels. Uptime has been up for 40 minutes. Patch resolution. Windows Manager is XFWM4, XFCE 4.16. Okay, you can also see the theme as well as the icon. The terminal that's currently using it. The CPU, GPU, and memory. Okay, so this is the all the technical information of this particular Garuda XFCE. So again, guys, this is just a quick review as well as a quick changing of settings using Garuda XFCE. So it's still up to you what Linux you wanted to use. So in my case, it depends upon my work. Okay, so I don't normally select Linux, or I don't normally choose Linux based on its looks or based on what is the current trend, but I use Linux based on my need. Okay, so let's say for example, if I need to do something, maybe I need to install that particular application, that particular software. If it's very much possible for me to just stick to one version of Linux, then I'll do that. Okay. So far I have it. So far for me, that's how I would choose what Linux flavor to use. So like right now, I'm still currently using Linux Mint on one of my laptop. Since so far it has served its purpose. Okay, so I'm not going to do Linux hopping for a while. I maybe if I were to choose another Linux distribution, I'll be choosing Manjaro uh, over Linux Mint. But I still have to look on it. If I could actually get some of the things that I need in Manjaro that I have been using in Linux Mint. If you find the contents of this blog useful or interesting, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button. And if you wanted to be notified every time a new video is uploaded, don't forget to hit the bell notification button. Thanks.